Truman Show.
There we go.
Greetings, boom. Greetings, Frank and honor. That's what I was saying. 467 episode and counting and keep on going with
Going
the
strong,
great Frank.
yes.
Yeah, going strong with Frank. So that's perfect. So today we're together to keep going with our review of PT's book. A
Yes.
great book that I recommend to anyone on the anywhere in their journey. It's not at the beginning or the end or the middle. You should have that book with you in your purse if you're a woman, and in your backpack if you're a man. Carry it and read it and really reflect on it and make sense of it, because that's the whole thing. Is okay, he gives us a book, his writing, his stuff, his inspiration, but it's up to us to make sense of it so that we can take our life to another level of, other than mediocrity and stuff. Because I think we have settled a lot for mediocrity in our life, which is not poor. I'm not saying poor. I'm talking about mediocrity, which is a different thing than being poor, or like it's not even has to do with any position or nothing. No? When you are mediocre, is because you get a mountain to climb. We all have a mountain to climb. If you stop in the middle, that's mediocre. So make sure when you start to climb, do it all the way, step by step. It's going to be for sure challenging at times. But it's all worth it. It's plant seeds, and let the fruit come after. Definitely, it's gonna. You only reap what you sow. So today, Frank, we are gonna start with the responsibility. I'll let you go on with this. Give thanks for life. We are back on the Truman Show.
Yes. Grateful to be here reviewing P's work once again.
Yeah.
So responsibility. Majority of people here do not take responsibility for their own selves. Otherwise, they would be much more responsible. Responsibility is responsibility to divine. Responsibility lies for the self before being responsible in any other way. Lots of irresponsible brats pose as responsible for family, etc. Being responsible for the self is the only key that allows for anything and everything good to happen in this world and the next. One has to honestly face one's irresponsibility towards one's own self and the extent of it before one can change to being responsible.
I'll read the French as we do usually.
Yes.
Responsabilité, same word, different pronunciation, maybe different spelling a bit too, but it's the same sound. Responsabilité. La majorité des gens ici ne prennent pas la responsabilité de leur être. Sinon, ils seraient bien plus habiles à répondre. Responsabilité est l'habilité à répondre au divin. La responsible, tu peux dire ça en français? La responsible. It's the first time I see that word in French. Sorry if I bug a bit, but il says la responsible est envers soi. Peut-être ça se dit, mais peut-être qu'on peut dire, maybe we can say it that way. It's just I'm not aware, but sometimes French from France and French from Quebec can be a bit different.
Right, yeah.
A bit different. So, la responsible est envers toi avant d'être responsable de toute autre manière. Beaucoup de sales gosses irresponsables se font passer pour responsables de leur famille, etc. Être responsable de soi est la seule clé qui permet tout ce qui est bon de se produire dans ce monde et le suivant. Une personne doit honnêtement faire face à son irresponsabilité envers soi-même et ce que cela représente avant de pouvoir changer pour être responsable. It's probably the most important word, one of the most important, probably top 5 word in the world, and that you should make sense of, that you should really reflect on, is the word responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Responsible, because if there's chaos in this world, if there's all the terror and all the nonsense, it's just because we lack responsibility to higher and divine. Now it's
Yes.
really good to take responsibility the way you think you are with your family, but even that, it's not really being responsible, because if you're responsible towards higher and divine, first of all, it's care for the body.
Mm-hmm.
Care for the body. Care for that suit you've been given, that engine that you have. Care for it. That's the first responsibility, and that's where most of us not lack but destroy it. We
Yeah.
destroy the engine, the body, from birth. We're on auto destruction until we wake up. And
Mm-hmm.
once we wake up, this is where we're like, hey, whoa, it's a war on me. They are attacking me with all kinds of nonsense for freaking Kool-Aid and Oreo cookies and all that nonsense. They're like, what
Yes,
is
it's
that?
true.
Like, giving that to your children is not being responsible.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
the care for the body is the most responsible, probably where you can start, and
Mm-hmm.
then you can be more take on more
Yes.
responsibility after. If you can take on this one, then you go and you add the responsibility, and then you suddenly
Mm-hmm.
realize you can take on a whole shit load of responsibility. Like, you can, the amount of stuff that you can carry is enormous. The
Mm-hmm.
the load of responsibility, but
Yeah.
it's got to start somewhere. And once you start to take responsibility for yourself, and really for caring for your vibration, for your thoughts, for everything that has to do with evolving.
Right.
Wow, it's a different feeling. It's a different feeling. Now you don't feel like your soul is captive somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
You feel
Yeah.
more like you feel the light and the love and the divine light, divine love,
Mm-hmm.
and that is what you express after. That's what comes out of you naturally. It's nothing forced. It's nothing. We have nothing scripted here other than what's in the book, but our reflection comes out from a place of pure intention and divine intention, definitely,
Mm-hmm. Right.
to take on our responsibility on this realm, on this earth, and do our part. Like, we're not
Mm-hmm.
gonna change the world, me and you, and change everyone, but we're doing our part. Like, and I think if we all do our part, we'll be making a whole. Like, it's
Yeah.
all like a puzzle. We're all like little pieces of puzzle that we have to join together. But now we're all like the ones that are putting the puzzle pieces together is all messed up and
Mm-hmm.
lying to us and creating deception and stuff. So I'm
Yeah.
talking about the puppeteers, the
Yeah.
ones that the controllers and the
Right.
so now we're all like all over the place. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a work of coming together also, and the joy and the feeling of coming together on the same, now you can call it spiritual plane, or uh, same level of vibration, maybe better. Same
Mm-hmm.
level of vibration is something that can impact so much,
Yeah.
and so many beings on earth can be inspired just by you waking
Yeah.
up to the love and the light and stuff, and taking on your responsibility. They're gonna want to take it on themselves, because there's nothing like, we should all be on one payroll, is the divine payroll, and that's the
Mm-hmm.
most rewarding. Like, the blessing and the stuff, the event and the good people and the good vibes coming your way is gonna be something that will blow your mind, that you will be overwhelmed very often. But those feeling, you get that just by taking responsibility. And I'm not saying I'm super responsible for every aspect of my life, but I take on at least a little bit of responsibility towards taking care of myself. I know it's my own job. It's not the Kool-Aid company's job to take care of me. It's up to me, or
Yes.
Kraft, or freaking Man's Hell
Uh,
mayonnaise, and
right.
so much scrap out there.
Right.
So it's up to you to take on, at least start there. Start taking responsibility for your own food that you put
Mhm.
inside your body. Just
Yes.
that, and what you watch, and the basic stuff that
Exactly.
that has been taken away from you, because if you sit in front of the TV all day long, it's not normal. Like, there's something capturing your soul there, your light, and you're
Right.
like, it's not normal. I'm not saying to not watch TV. Some people like it.
Hmm.
We all have our own. It today also. It's not so much TV. It's computers and phones, and like
Oh
we
yeah.
have. Sorry, might be stuck still in 1980, but people don't watch TV no more so
Right.
much. But people do, but not as much as before. I think people are a lot on their phone, on screens.
Right.
So
Right. Right.
we all have our own screen distraction. I don't think we'll ever get away from that, because
Hmm.
we are in this era too that
Right.
it's everywhere around us. So
Hmm.
also we have to cope with the physical reality that we're in. And like, I'm not no more in 1980s. So
Right.
we have to. I think it's an evolution. I think I don't see internet as being a devolution. It depends how
Hmm.
you use it. It's like money. It's like anything else, plastic, whatever.
Hmm.
So that responsibility has to be there also, that you should be caring about exactly what you consume. That's my point.
Yeah.
And then maybe stop pretending that you care also for your children, when it's not really caring. It's more like repeating a program often, and from
Hmm.
generational programming is installed. So you have to break that stuff, and it's
Yeah.
heavy. It's heavy because I've realized it, that it's very heavy, because I went through it toward breaking that cycle of irresponsibility. I think
Hmm.
that's what we're in, from family to family, generation to generation, very responsible, and thinking we are responsible. This is the
Right.
thing. What we think is not necessarily reality.
Right.
That's we have, but we have not made a difference between reality and fiction, because we live in fantasy all the time. So when it comes time to face reality, it's very hard for us. So we prefer put ourselves in fiction and fantasy and some kind of illusion in your head to cover your nonsense, and to make sure you don't face your responsibility. I think
Yeah.
we as human prefer be deeply fucked up than deeply responsible. Like, that's the case for many. And when you become deeply responsible, you stop fucking up yourself. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
that destruction has to end at one point.
Hmm.
Are you here all your life to just auto destruct yourself, or
Right.
you're here to build yourself? I think
Hmm.
we're here to build ourselves up, but
Right.
that comes with the word responsibility. Anyway, I'm done, Frank. I'm gonna stop.
Yes.
I think I've been talking like 10 minutes already.
Yeah. P always inspires a lot of
You
deep.
are my guest after all.
Well, P always inspires a lot of deep reflection with his writings, so we could really just go on, about even just, a single like line or phrase. Being responsible for the self is the only key that allows for anything and everything good to happen in this world and the next. I mean, we could just take just that line and just talk for, 30 minutes about that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I love this P log. It's so fun. And P is so right that um, that responsibility is where we find that we can start making the change for ourselves. And that's where we can really start to empower ourselves. Like, we don't have to count on somebody else to take care of us. We don't have to count on the insurance or the doctor to, like, take care of our health or whatever, this idea of responsibility is learning. There's a learning process there. And like you were talking about, and like P talks about, taking care of the body is the first responsibility that we have. We've been given this body. It's been given as a gift from divine. And like P says also, it is the highest technology on earth, this body that we reside within. It is the highest technology, which is, that's quite the thing to fathom. And so if it's high-tech equipment, you can't treat it just any old kind of way. You can't just treat it like a rental car, like most people do, and just be lazy and irresponsible with it. There are certain things that the body likes. There are certain things that, and each one of our edition, each model that we have been, given in this life has its own particular things, particular fuel that it runs on better. It's going to be in a certain environment wherever you've landed on Earth. And so depending on that environment, is also going to require certain types of maintenance and things like that. So, and all that is covered very thoroughly in the Ayurvedic perspective on how to take care of your health and your body and adapt things through the seasons and things like that, depending on where you are and the type of body, whatever your predominant humors are. So if you have more fire, if you have more water, or if you have more air or something like that, like that's going to depend on how you fuel and maintain the body. But like P says, we see it all over the place here. Majority of people don't take responsibility for themselves. Otherwise, there would be more responsibility. We would be able to respond to divine much more easily. And we've been given this false notion of what responsibility is. Excuse me. This idea of, taking care of the family, that's responsibility, or getting grades in school, or any of these kind of things. But that's all within this. That's kind of this matrix that's been put on top of the reality that we're in right now, that it operates through deception most often. I mean, there are bits and pieces of it that are true. And so that's what can be confusing about it. It's like, well, why, like, how is it all like a false program if I know that this thing is operating and that actually does work or something like that? But they've woven like a very tricky web, so P's really perceptive as to how we can start to deconstruct that thing that's developed within ourselves, because we've allowed ourselves to be taken advantage of, and we've given our power away by saying, okay, I'm going to let the doctor tell me what's best for my health, even though I haven't really kind of looked into it myself. I'm just gonna trust, and we want to be able to do that. We want to be able to trust people and things like that. But at the same time, we also need to, just be aware that things aren't always what they seem. And especially in the times that we're in now, I mean, it's not hard to see like how twisted and upside down the world is in so many ways. So, you can't just believe what the government man says or the school teacher or whatever, even if they might not even take the thought themselves that what I'm doing is misleading people or something like that. They might just be going along with, they might just be a cog in the wheel or whatever. But
it's a program, right? They installed the program. So.
Exactly. But the thing is, it is our responsibility to work on ourselves, to evolve ourselves, to find out what is the truth. And that's not anybody else's responsibility. That each of us has to do that for ourselves. And it's quite the journey. But, once you start kind of awakening to what's real, you can see it, because you can see how things function by watching, observing life, observing yourself, reflecting on your own experience, And and that's what's so beautiful about what P is offering here. Because like you said, it can be in every purse or backpack or whatever, because there's something in here for everyone, it doesn't matter what race, religion, or creed or whatever. There is the multiversal truths are within these writings. And it like we were talking about, you apply these kind of things to your body, to how we're gonna, for one, feed ourselves, and then you start taking a look and taking more responsibility for developing, sensibility within yourself by connecting with nature, working on centering yourself, working on refining your speech. If we want us to be able to speak the truth and these kind of things. And P points a very, exalted way to be able to do that. And it's simple too. It's not overly complex. You just start, you have to have that learning attitude and be like, all right, I'm ready. I want to begin,
And he's gonna let you make sense of it yourself also, because it's not a recipe book. There's no recipe in there. He doesn't tell you what to eat.
Right.
But he tells you should be responsible for what you eat. So now go reflect. Go think. What's good for you? Think.
Exactly.
Make sense of it. You can. That's the thing.
And
you don't need no one. You don't need the government or no. Make sense of it. Does it grow in nature? Are you from nature, or are you from some outer freaking places? Right?
Right.
Are you a machine, or
Right.
you're from nature? So
Yes.
make sense of it.
Yeah.
We can all make sense of it. Like,
we were
there's
talking
no
about,
excuses for that unless you're a machine.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Which I don't think we are. So
yeah. And like we were talking about earlier, I mean, this right now is the time. Start putting the seeds in the ground, make that connection with the earth. The gardening aspect is so fun. And, it might not be as easy for most people, depending on your living situation. You might only have a window, but you could still grow a little house plant or something, make a connection with these plant beings and these other things that are of nature and of the earth. And it can start to foster within you, something that will awaken and start to, work on taking
that. Even that, if you have no spot at your home to grow food, you can always go in the wild, in the forest, and plant stuff there.
Yeah,
I've done it. I went into a forest here nearby and plant stuff in the ground just to see. It will grow.
Yeah,
but
and there's often community gardens too.
Community garden
might be an option. Exactly.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Yes, exactly. But like P says here too, one has to honestly face one's irresponsibility towards one's own self and the extent of it before one can change to being responsible. So yeah, we have to just look at how we have, basically believed our own ignorance, in the past, or just compare ourselves with others or something. Well, I'm maybe I'm doing better than this person, so it's okay if I'm just not, doing my best, or however it is. There's a lot of ways that we have, shirked our own responsibility to take care of ourselves, feed ourselves well. Yeah, I mean, I was just recently with some, friends from the past, and I was just kind of watching like how they were eating and stuff, and I was like, did y'all not get it? Whenever these past like 10 or 15 years that you've had the chance to, like, I mean, I guess people just don't turn that switch on sometimes, and they just go along with the Papa John's or the whatever, like the fast food selling, like, oh, come on, y'all, like, really, you gotta
Chick-fil-A and all that nonsense. Fucking, I don't know how many ingredients to make a chicken burger. Like, it's
right.
insane. It's pure insanity. Pure insanity. And the thing is, I don't even think we're not even aware of our ignorance. You said that we believe our ignorance.
Yeah.
I kind of have to disagree, because I don't even think we know we're ignorant. We think we know it all. Like Mr. Know-It-All, Madame Know-It-All.
Right.
That's the default state. So you're not ignorant in your default state. You know it all.
Or people would say the things like, "Oh, gotta die some way," so wonder, and then they just, they'll say something lame like that. Like,
But once you realize the big picture and stuff, now you realize you were really ignorant, and you
exactly.
still are. And I'm still are ignorant of so many facts, of so many stuff on earth that I about me also. So
Mhm.
like we're ignorant about the world, but we're also ignorant towards ourselves
So yeah,
because
very
we
true.
don't acknowledge our potential and our gift and stuff, and we just go be a good worker in the factory or whatever, just an employee. An employee when you
Right.
have all the good stuff in you to be the boss, like you should
Mhm.
try to be the boss or whatever, like have your own art or your own stuff. I don't know. We're all gifted with uh, something. So work on it, bring it to life, and
Mhm.
this is part of the responsibility also is to realize your gift. And but for that you have to wake up. You have to kind of die inside. Me, I always
Mhm.
said it. You have to die inside and be reborn
Yeah.
in order to face reality, because it's gonna be pretty freaking shocking to see the world you live in from before to after. It's a whole different world. It's
Yeah.
even the reality is stranger than fiction. The
Oh.
reality is much stranger than the fiction they give you. Trust me.
Mhm. Yeah.
And that is an everyday amazement also, that
Mhm.
it's like, yeah, anyway, that's the feeling I get now from living on this earth. It's everything is, I wouldn't say everything is mysterious, but everything has some kind of mystery or mysticness
Right.
to it. Like
Yes.
it's very mystic. It's a
It's part of a
that
divine order.
yeah,
It has like things to it that
and
trace it back to like this yeah, thing that's beyond.
the other day I was on the bike path and there was some kind of a mist, a big mist in the air.
Oh,
I'm like,
right.
oh, that's so mystic.
Yes, right.
So maybe that's why the word mystic come from the mist.
The
Maybe.
mist. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, so I don't know what I was talking about before coming to the mist, but marriage, I think, is our next.
Yes, we'll move to our next marriage. Marriage, an alchemical term now reduced to silly legality and society stamps. Real marriage is between mind and heart, left side and right side of the body, to create transformation and, in due course, enlightenment. Even in the context of a relationship between a man and a woman, it is only real and can only last as long as the woman truly finds the man higher and interesting. Otherwise, it is just a sham, a charade to overcome fear of poverty, society, and loneliness. People staying together without any real alchemy and evolutionary goal only leads to bickering, conflict, depression, and devolution.
Wow, le mariage. Le mariage, un grand mot. Le mariage, un terme alchimique maintenant réduit à des légalités stupides et des tampons sociétaires. Le vrai mariage est entre esprit et cœur, côté gauche et côté droit. Du corps pour créer transformation et en temps venu, l'illumination. Wow, that's nice. Même dans un contexte de relation entre un homme et une femme, c'est seulement réel et ne peut durer qu'aussi longtemps que la femme trouve l'homme vraiment supérieur et intéressant. Sinon, c'est juste une imposture, un, un simulacre pour surmonter les peurs de la pauvreté, de la société et de la solitude. Les gens qui restent ensemble sans aucune vraie alchimie et but évolutif se dirigent seulement vers des chamailleries, des conflits, dépression et d'évolution. I've said it often. Often you see people, that's it, they get married and stuff, and they think that the marriage is happening in between. But that's the idea created within us. Created, that's good. Created within us. It's that marriage is between a man and a woman, or two men, two women. I don't care what's your preference.
Right.
I'm not judging your sexual preference here today, but the marriage is between two beings. Homosexuality always existed, will always exist. I don't know why people freak the fuck out about that, honestly. It's not my thing, but like it exists. It exists. It's always been there. Like, why are you so uh, I don't get that. But anyway, that's a whole different topic.
Right.
But me, it doesn't rub me the wrong way. Like, it's not something
Yeah.
that I find spooky or shit. Like, come on,
Deeply
it's
convenient.
always
Yeah.
it's. I think I'm gonna let go of the topic
Okay.
because because I might say stuff that, maybe I should have said it.
Okay.
So marriage, that's it. The marriage is between the two parts of your body. Your heart has to match. You know, when they say let your heart guide you, it's because it's got to be happening within. Like,
Yeah.
it's you got to match that stuff. What you think and what you feel in your heart has
Mhm.
to match. So there's that alchemy within that have to happen, and it's certainly not between a man and a woman. Now it can flourish a relationship between a man and a woman. I am into one myself. It's been like 20 something years in.
Yeah.
Uh, I give thanks for sure for having Kim in my life and stuff, and
Yeah.
she has showed me true love and affection, really, what it meant and stuff. So
Mhm.
I give thanks for that, but also we're both committed in evolving. Like, she
Yeah.
wants to evolve also. She was overweight before. She lost a lot of weight. Like, she's taking care of herself. I
Mhm.
see her doing yoga and stuff. Like, she's really once she has shifted the mentality to now auto destruction to building up herself. So I
Yeah.
see her wanting to evolve. So that can make a marriage work really well. But when
Mhm.
one doesn't want to evolve and the other one sees more out of life than the other, that's where often conflict would happen and
Yes.
stuff like that. That's why people don't stay together. I think it's just because also there's an evolution part that have to happen. Like,
Mhm. Yeah.
you get married when you're young, and then you get older. You're supposed to evolve as you mature on this earth. You're not supposed to
Yeah.
stay at the same level. So often the conflict and the bittering and stuff will happen because people have never grown out of their nonsense habit and stuff, and that
Mhm.
cause a lot of conflict within the two beings together. But
Yeah.
anyway, I'm not here to do marriage counseling here today. No? It's not my goal. No?
Mhm.
Like, you deal with your stuff the way you deal with. But I'm just saying, if you're both committed to evolving, I don't think it can fail. Like, when you
Yeah.
both see the need to take responsibility for higher and divine and take responsibility for yourself,
Mhm.
the marriage can only flourish. Like, it can happen a super great relationship between a man and a woman. I think as long as you're committed to evolve and respecting each other and
Yeah.
giving each other space and stuff, and that's very important.
Mhm.
But we're all very different after all, especially once you start expressing your uniqueness, your individuality. Now you're not gonna find yourself like 100,000 other muggles. You're gonna express your individuality. So
Mhm.
that's gonna come out of you. So the other beings you live with has to be able to cope with this. But how can they cope with your evolution if they're not wanting to evolve themselves? They're gonna want to
Yeah.
reject all your evolution and all your
Mhm.
your stuff that you aspire to
Right.
because they're not on the same path. So often they will involuntarily put stick in your wheels and stop your motion almost.
Right.
And that cause conflict definitely. So yeah,
Mhm.
so marriage is a big thing, but it should happen within yourself first of all, to be
Mhm.
able to also see it outside. If you're not, don't feel that marriage inside, how do you want to feel it outside? You're probably gonna have chaotic relationship and stuff. And
Mhm.
often people wake up, it's kind of too late. Often they have destroyed relationship and they realize, oh, maybe if I would have been more this way more. It's just more kind, more lovey, more patient.
Mhm.
Kindness, love, patience. I think you're in business to really and evolve, wanting to evolve. Wow, now your marriage can only flourish, and especially if you don't have too many bad demons habit coming in your marriage, like alcohol and all that stuff,
Right.
that can destroy also relationship. We know that gambling and all that stuff.
Mhm.
I've seen gambling and alcohol destroyed relationship. Trust me, I've
Yeah.
seen it. I've seen it
Mhm.
firsthand with my father and my mother. So
Mhm.
I've lived it myself. So I know it can really cause a lot of damage when the two beings are not both focusing on evolving, and they're
Yeah.
like, you cannot hope to evolve drinking alcohol all day long. That's not
No.
evolution. It's gonna, first of all, it's poison. It's poison that you put in. So, and you're not
Yeah.
even aware that you're poisoning yourself. You think it's fun. You get tipsy and you get like all loose, and like people
Right.
get loose when they drink. I've drank in my life, not
Mhm.
very much, but I know what the effect of alcohol can do.
Yes.
And definitely you become someone else.
Mhm.
So you have to be careful with that stuff, definitely,
Yeah.
in moderation. And if not, it's gonna probably destroy the marriage inside and the marriage outside.
Oh yeah.
I'll leave it like that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, this is so cool because you think about the term marriage and you don't come to this first point that P makes, that marriage is within. It is a union, right? It is a union between yeah, like he says, mind and heart, the left side and the right side. Like P's always talking about working on centering yourself. And like in the Vedic thing, the term yog or yoga, as it is now today, actually means developing a union between yourself and higher and divine, and the forces that are supporting and giving life and things like that. So the process, the actions that we do that foster and develop that connection between us as individual atmas or spirits and the supreme, the highest divine, when we're doing things like centration, connecting with nature, uh, speaking truth, or doing mantra repetitions of pure principles, or even just doing the basic steps like taking care of ourselves with good food and doing things that are actually showing care and concern for the self. Those are little steps, and then we can work to do bigger steps, that we're developing a connection, a union with higher and divine, and that union also starts to happen within the body and within the self as we're doing those kind of things. So this is a really beautiful and kind of transcendental look at this term marriage. And so from this point of view, that like life's purpose is to raise our consciousness, to expand our awareness, and start to align ourselves with a divine way of being, a divine will, and start to develop a harmonious relationship with nature and divine, with ourselves, with others. That has to be our foundation, before you can expect to have anything that's going to work with another person. And that has to be that other person's foundation too, because it's our connection with divine. That's number one. and our connection with taking care of ourselves. Just like P was saying in the last P log, you can't pretend to care for others before you authentically care for yourself first. So that means it's not just going to be in thought, it's not just going to be a mental thing, but it's going to be in action too. You're going to do things that are going to be beneficial and taking care of yourself. So and it's another interesting point too here that he says, this idea of a relationship, partnership, marriage between a man and a woman, or between two beings. It's like the woman has to find the man more interesting and higher, in that sense of, okay, we have to keep working on doing things that's going to like keep upping the level, because what if a female goes with a male that is going to be not as interested in evolving or taking care of themselves, then what's going to happen with her? She's going to get drug along with whatever the male's got going on, So that's like what we were saying, where relationships or partnerships, whatever, can grow stagnant is, if one of the individuals in the continuing interaction loses focus on what is the real thing. They got to take care of themselves. And there's a lot of different ways that like life can put us in situations or circumstances where we get caught off guard. Maybe there's a death of someone close to us, or the job goes away, or something happens with our car or our house. And no matter what the situation or circumstance, we have to keep working on making things move forward and go upward. And we had life takes work, and we get caught off guard sometimes. So anyway, those kind of circumstances can really like shake people, and then they lose focus of like what they're doing, who they are, and who they thought they were, and all this kind of stuff. But that's why this whole thing that P's talking about with centration, starting to like create a foundation and really establish this basis of like taking care of the self, starting to found yourself in pure principles and the things that are going to be always true, not the things that are just true for today or whatever. We want to ground ourselves in this real well-being, real peace and positivity. And there is a way that we can do that. And it's always going to be true, taking care of the self, taking care of the body. That's going to be as true as it is today. It was true yesterday. It's going to be true after we're gone. That's part of that sequence, and that's part of that framework and that modality. But all that to say, just coming back to that evolving impetus as individuals has to be there, and you have to keep doing that if you want any type of partnership to be able to be sustained, because if one of them is not interested in that and the other one is, then it doesn't make sense anymore, and something different is going to happen. You know what I mean? So and that's not like good or bad. It's just like what makes sense and what doesn't. You just have to make those choices. And like P says, there's a lot of things that keeps people together. Like all of the like we were talking about earlier, the false matrix that's been put on top of here. So we have to navigate the things where we keep our car running, we keep our house mortgage payment going, or we have all these different things. And it is in some ways easier to share that responsibility or that burden or whatever with another person. That partnership, like, okay, I'm going to cook and then you can clean, or we can swap those things, or we can both do both of them or whatever. And so things, you can get more done, right, than like with another person than you can just with yourself. And you can get more done in a group than you can with just two people. But for there to be like a continuing like cohesiveness and peace, everybody has to keep focusing on that goal of evolving and working on themselves. And then that reduces the potential for like conflict, or like this is like, everybody remember what are we what are we trying to do here, you know? And so we can all get along in that way because we can focus on what's important. So yeah, I love this. This is cool P-log on marriage.
Yeah, if you're all going, I was muted. If
Yeah.
you're all going towards the same goal, which is evolution, what can go wrong? Like, you're
Mhm.
honestly, all you should see is love and light. So what goes wrong in love and light? Nothing, and everything is fixable.
Yeah.
So even relationship and your body and your anything, I think we come here very much equipped to make sense of reality. Very much equipped. Look, you have senses. You have so many senses, to much more than five, and
Right.
that's, you have to realize that. And until you realize all this stuff, and you're still gonna be under that programming, that default state. So if you're both committed to that default state, like you said, and you think that you need each other to pay the mortgage, pay this, pay that, and that financially, I agree, it's much easier together. Definitely, you're gonna go a lot further, and but for all this also to work, the financial part between two beings, it also has to be part of an evolutionary process. It's not
Hmm.
just, oh, now we're together, because at one point it's gonna create conflicts. There's gonna be conflicts created, yeah, and it's going
Right.
to be very hard often to, because we're emotional beings and we attach to emotion a lot, and especially in our default state we have very much a hard time to let go and to recognize that, oh, maybe I shouldn't fight that battle or this one, or maybe I shouldn't fight any battle. Like,
Hmm.
why fight? Like, so
Right.
you withdraw and you kind of give thanks for life each and every day a lot more than before. So just being able to be grateful and give thanks for life, you will be thankful for beings in your life. You will not be like being negative towards the beings that live with you or stuff. You will tend to be more loving and more kind.
Hmm.
So I don't see someone in an evolutionary process being able to destroy anything, because you're no more in auto destruction. So you're gonna want to build everything that you see. You're gonna want to build up with people, with your relationship, with your children, your dog, everyone. You're gonna want to build up something strong instead of destroying everything. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's my point. But anyway, yeah,
That's it. Hmm.
that's it. I think we can all make sense of that. It's just I'm the speaker here, but I think we all have felt pretty much some kind of way towards marriage, definitely.
Yeah. And I mean, just another side note, that um, the quality, or like the selection of beings out there who actually are starting to want to do the right thing is kind of slim, you know. It's kind of hard to find that, you know.
That's the thing also, that, yeah, good point, because now you go out there, you try to find someone, oh, they're all under programming
Want
and
some
they're all,
issues, yes. So
but I think it's not about, I don't think it's about finding the perfect person out there for you. I think
right.
it's about going to find someone and you're both committed to evolve. If you
Hmm.
want to evolve, if you see a glimpse of light towards the crack of the door, both of you, you're going to want to open the door more and
Yeah.
see more light. So I think it's very, because when I have met Kim, we were both deeply asleep, like
Right.
complete, not complete unawareness, but there was some stuff that I was eating or doing or whatever, that was not out of awareness and presence and stuff. So we met each other in a sleeping mode, but at one point I had the spark at 40 years old. I had the tragedy happening, and that kind of woke me up. I had time to think. So now, whoa, what's that Babylon and all that? I told the story often. So I went on, and then I started to expose my stuff to the beings I live with. Definitely, I'm always been a big talker, so for sure I was talking to them, but they were all very receptive and very much making sense of this. Like, you can see in someone if there is a chance for them to kind of wake up one day.
Yeah.
Even though if it's in 20 years or now, but
Right.
you see in their action, like for I take my experience, Kim has never watched the news. So I knew that. I knew she wasn't a TV watcher. She didn't watch the news. She didn't like movies. Her soul was very awake already. So I was seeing a lot of light into her and stuff, because I was always very marginal no matter what. I've been a reggae guy since a young age. So it's always been within me, the rebel side of me.
Right.
It's just I was rebel dormant. Now I'm rebel awake. But that's it. I wasn't rebelling the right way either. You rebel, you think you rebel the right way, but it's not it at all. The real rebellion happened when you start taking care of yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Which they don't want you to do. So
I
you
know.
think you're rebelling, but you're not rebelling at all. You're destroying yourself. So if your partner, like I said, you can see a little light in them, give them the chance. Give them the chance. At one point, they will see the light just like you do. And I think it's just to, by example, also, go around and give an example of light and love. It's not going to hurt you, it's going to do you some good. So, yeah. So, yes, there's a big thing that once we met, or if you're for sure, if you're more, I think it's better you both meet in a deep sleep mode. Honestly, I think it's better, because once you're like you or me, or we would go out in the world and try to find someone, we would be a lot more selective, and it would be a lot harder to find someone that kind of share the same values or vision. So maybe when you're deeply asleep and you both see a glimpse of light somewhere, I think it's better that way, because then you're gonna experience also the dark. You gotta experience a bit of darkness in order to reach a certain amount of light. So I don't think I think it's meant to happen, and I think it's better to. It's just if there is, like I say, a lot of negativity coming within the couple or within the marriage, like outside the temptation. There's a lot of temptation in this world that can tempt you into the dark side. So if you're at least capable to recognize this, now you're probably gonna evolve at one point and recognize all the nonsense of this world, just like I did and Frank. And now you start taking more care of yourself and others and relationship and marriage. And like, I don't see myself ever getting away from Kim, other than if I die or if she die. Like, it's clear to me, because definitely we're evolving, both of us. So that's why I'm saying, if it can work, if you're both committed to evolution.
That's the key. That's definitely the key.
And it's the key. It's the key. So, yeah. And there's so much stuff we have to let go in order to evolve. And so, anyway, we're not here to point every little thing, make sense of it. But, yeah. So, we're going to finish today maybe with the male and female completion illusion.
Yes. The male-female completion illusion. Males and females on this planet have the illusion that even though they feel incomplete within themselves, once they unite, they will reach godlike completeness. This is the whole basis for sex, relationship, marriage, etc., etc. It doesn't take them long to find out that their union doesn't lead to divine bliss. In fact, things just get worse. The honest admit to it, others don't. But the facts and the fighting remain. It's a hard pill to swallow. It's a hard pill for them to swallow that completion they seek can only be achieved through union with divine, not with other imperfect beings.
Yeah. L'illusion de complétion homme-femme. Les hommes et les femmes sur cette planète ont l'illusion que même s'ils se sentent incomplets intérieurement, une fois qu'ils s'unissent, ils atteindront la perfection divine. C'est toute la base pour le sexe, les relations, le mariage, etc. etc. Cela ne leur prend pas longtemps pour se rendre compte que leur union ne mène pas à la béatitude divine. En fait, les choses empirent. Les honnêtes l'admettent, les autres ne l'admettent pas. Mais les faits et les disputes restent les mêmes. C'est une pilule difficile à avaler pour eux. La complétion qu'ils cherchent ne peut être accomplie seulement à travers l'union avec le divin, pas avec les autres êtres imparfaits. That's a big one because that's a bit goes back to what we were saying about the marriage. Mm-hmm. It's often as we go and try to find the ultimate alchemy or the ultimate enlightenment with another imperfect being.
Yeah.
Like, I think what you can create love with another imperfect being is really an evolution. That's the only thing you should focus on, create loving with another imperfect being. If you're stuck in there, it's evolution, because that's the only thing that can save your relationship with, because if not, it's going to be chaos and destruction and probably hell's pain and torture that's going to come with the relationship. So to recognize that, you're not necessarily the same as the other is important also. I'm a man, she's a woman. It's two different things. Right. Very different. And and that's where I think it's beautiful for a man and a woman to come together. Now, I said before, man and man can also be beautiful together. I don't care. I don't want to judge here. I'm not into this, but two beings, let's just put two beings together. And they love each other, and they can certainly get away from that illusion that they tell us that we should live under, and just have a beautiful relationship. It is possible, but definitely, like PT says here, it doesn't take time. It doesn't take them long to find out that their union doesn't lead to divine bliss. In fact, things just get worse. The honest admit to it, others don't. But the fact and the fighting remain. And that's like timeless truth. Like you said, it's true today, it will be true tomorrow. It's always been true. That's a fact. So, yeah. It's on you, Frank.
Yeah.
That's what I have to do.
Yeah, this is something that is part of the program that they run on us, right? This whole, Disney fairy tale that, if what's the, if the knight in shining armor comes and then
Le prince charmant.
Exactly. Then, or in I guess maybe the new age thing is like the twin flame. If my eternal soulmate or whatever is gonna come and save me from this life or all the things or whatever, and there is a certain in an internal chemistry that happens. Like there's like the hormones and the pheromones and and they're like with a new interaction with a being that you don't know. That's basically that's the game, or that's the chase that beings keep going after. Because there's maybe some type of initial potential chemistry or something like that. But like we have said, if our own lives aren't based on making decisions and taking actions that make sense for ourselves, for our evolution, then if we're not basing our decisions on that, then the relationship can't be based in that either. And that's the only thing that a relationship or a partnership can stand on, a foundation that's solid, that's going to be based in reality, in truth, and it's not going to be based in a fantasy or an idea or a picture that like this other person is going to fulfill this hollow space within me that like, who am I? What's my purpose? Why am I here? All this kind of stuff. That can only be fulfilled through having that first established connection with higher and divine, because that's where you're going to, start to find those answers. And, through P's teachings, he's sharing this perspective of the Vedic antiquity. All of this is established in these ancient ways, and that's it's a really beautiful thing that P is able to translate all that into modern terms. And we have to see through that illusion that, another being isn't going to fulfill, like P says, even though we feel incomplete within ourselves, if I go to another incomplete being, like, what's going to happen? We might have some temporary illusion or idea that something's going to work, but if you're not going to start building the blocks that makes that stairway to heaven, then you're just going to be treading water or sinking, and that's not fun. And that's where all the fighting and everything comes, and it's where pain and it sucks, So.
And in this world, you're either a swimmer or you're a sinker. So it's either you swim the waters of Babylon or you drown.
Right. Yeah.
It's your choice.
And then if you can work hard enough, you can evolve some wings and you can fly out of that water.
Probably. Or reach the shore.
Yeah, reach the shore. Yeah, right.
Or reach the shore. That would be a great feeling, definitely.
Yes.
We're getting there. We're getting near the shore. We're definitely swimmers. We're gonna keep on swimming.
Right.
Do you want to add anything else, Frank?
No, we'll. So this theme is going to continue, in these coming P-logs about, relationship and love and these kind of things. So we'll be continuing this dialogues.
Yeah. It should be interesting to extend on the topics of relationship, because we're all, no matter what, I'm not alone here. There is beings around me. There is woman. I love women. Like, they're beautiful and stuff. So for sure, it's human nature to get together. Like, I don't see this being unnatural. It's very natural for us to mate and to procreate and procreate love and stuff. So and that's probably the one thing that you're naturally programmed to do without thinking, is to reproduce. So it's very normal for me, and I always found women very beautiful from my man perspective, definitely. So we'll leave it like that. We will be forward again next Moon Day. For now, I'm going out. It's beautiful sunny day today.
Getting back in the garden today. That's where I'm going to be out there.
Taking care of my stuff, and we'll see each other again next Moon Day for another review. Thinking we're coming here to make sure also we stay on course, and that's it.
It's always beneficial to reflect.
Stay focused, and uplifted, and all the good stuff. So. We're out. Give thanks for life. See ya
See you in the next one.
on the next one.